Decision-making and rules. Let me begin by saying, I don't like rules. I've never been one for following them, and being the one making them makes me uncomfortable. I've never felt like it was fair to impose restrictions on other people. I think part of my resistance to rules comes from growing up in an authoritarian setting at school. I also grew up in a community which was incredibly judgmental, which adds another layer of control. People were very critical of how you talked, how you looked, how you acted, what grades you were getting, what clothes you were wearing, what kind of car you were driving, and where you were going to school. In addition to all these social rules, I went to a public school with an endless array of rules that are designed to maintain order by controlling youth. If you are utilizing public spaces like libraries, you will likely have to adhere to the rules of those spaces. As a group of teens using these spaces, you can advocate together to have rules and policies changed, but you may not have a lot of voice unless your group is large. You may find you simply cannot change the rules. What's more important for the success of your learning center is the rules by which you organize and make decisions within your group. In the previous chapter, I described the weekly school meeting that takes place at Sudbury schools and the weekly change-up meeting that occurs at Agile Learning Centers. Adopting one of these democratic models may be useful to assist your group in decision-making and setting the rules of your learning center. Instead of feeling like you have to attach to one specific model, I suggest you adopt the features that resonate with you and your peers. Don't feel too intimidated by the idea of there being rules. When I first visited a Sudbury school, I was somewhat expecting to meet kids who also felt the same way about rules as I do. I was incredibly surprised to find the opposite. They actually promoted the establishment of rules and structure. They explained it to me. Because the youth were the ones that were in control of the rulemaking, they appreciated and valued the rules. They felt having a system they all agreed upon led to a greater accountability, personal responsibility, and ultimately to more freedom. Anytime students feel there is a rule that isn't fair, they can actually take action to change it. When students at a Sudbury school are written up for breaking a rule, the Judicial Committee of the Sudbury School handles the situation. I asked South Jersey Sudbury School student Dylan Marcus to share his perspective on being written up by his peers in comparison to his experiences when he used to attend public school. He said, "It's so interesting when you are being punished by your friends and peers in a Sudbury environment rather than in a normal public school environment where it is the teacher's or principal's responsibility to discipline the students. It is much easier as the student to say, 'F you, why should I care about what you have to say?' to someone who you don't really care about. However, when it is your friends telling you that you messed up, it definitely means a lot more to see the disappointment in their eyes." Reference 206. If this feels too formal, setting up a specific conflict resolution process to handle differences between students could be a useful tool. Agile Learning Centers, for example, describe a 4-step process for handling conflicts. Our process starts with breathing and deciding what and how to communicate with the involved people, attempting to communicate with them directly to address the issue, getting support communicating with them if the problem persists, and finally, filing a form to gather the Culture Committee for conflict resolution help in cases where the previous steps prove insufficient. Reference 207. North Star, while they don't rely on a democratic process, does have a conflict resolution process they use. Ken Danford recently wrote about this in Tipping Points. North Star has a staff-moderated process for conflict resolution. We aim for immediate and mutually satisfactory reflection, explanation, and resolution. No staff member possesses dictatorial powers, and any staff member initiating a complaint about a teen's behavior must include another staff member and other interested parties to the discussion. Any serious conflict must also involve at least one parent in the process. The first step is to have a private meeting with a staff member and any other relevant or desired witnesses. When a conflict resolution meeting is called, both parties must stop what they are doing to discuss the situation. A person who refuses a meeting will be asked to leave the premises and will not be welcomed back until they are ready to have this conversation. A second adult can ensure that any bias by the first adult might be recognized and called out, and also help the teen feel that they are not stuck alone with a person with whom they are already in conflict. Reference 208. As always, you will need to adapt your system to meet the specific needs of the individuals in your learning center. I find the democratic models are particularly valuable because they can evolve to meet the needs of your unique community.